Hi everyone, Victor here again, and in today's lesson, we're going to be looking at the third part of setting and managing permissions in Linux, and we're going to be looking at how to manage permissions using access control list in Linux. And again, if you're going to be writing the exam, you can check the description box below for the exam practice questions. So, what is access control list? From the word access control list, it just simply means that it's a list of access that is being controlled. It's just as simple as that. So, access control list is an advanced way of giving permissions to users on a file. I usually call access control list advanced permission mechanism. In our previous lessons, we looked at the attributes of a file and we saw the section where the owner and group owner of a file are listed. We're also able to give different permissions to the owner of a file and group owner of the file. In this case, John is the owner of this file with various permissions. What if you also want to give Lisa a set of permissions on this file? Or you want to give the group sales a set of permissions on this file, which you can see that sales is not the group owner of this file. This is where access control list comes in. Like I mentioned, access control list is an advanced way of managing permissions in Linux. And there are two important commands you must know how to use with access control list. They are the get FACL command, meaning get file access control list. And this command is used to verify the ACL permissions. And the other command is the set FACL, meaning set file access control list. And this command is used to set the ACL permissions. There are other information about ACL I will encourage you to learn in the documentation. So I'll be dropping the link to the documentation in the description box below. And again, like I said, we have three sections. We have the understanding the subject matter section. We have the action time section for the RHEL and the action time section for the Ubuntu system. But in this lesson, I'm going to, since both Red Hat and Ubuntu follow the same steps in managing access control lists in Linux, I'm going to combine both sections together. So we're going to be looking at the step-by-step guide of how to set access control list permissions in Linux. Currently, now I am on a Red Hat system. And like I said, that you're going to be making use of the get FACL command and the set FACL command for you to be able to use ACL in Linux. So if I do ls-l, so if I want to get the ACL, the current ACL permissions on file 1, for example, so I can just say get FACL on file 1, on file 1. You can see that for the name of for the name of the file, it is called file 1. The owner of the file is John. The group owner is Finance. And for the user permission, we only have the read write permission. For the group permission, we have just the read permission. And for others, we have just the read permission. And we don't have any ACL permission on this file. A way to know if you have an ACL permission on the file is that after the end of this permission area of the file, you're going to see a plus sign. Well, let's see that when we set the ACL permission so you can understand what I'm trying to say. Now on this file, you can see that the owner of the file is John. So if you want to give another user, let's say a read and execute permission on this same file, file 1, what you're going to use is the set FACL command. And if you do set FACL dash dash up, You can see that we have different flags for the set FACL. You can see that for the dash M flag, this is used to modify the current ACL. For the dash X file, this is used to remove entries from the ACL. For the dash K file, this is used to remove the default entries. For the dash B flag, this is used to remove all extended ACL entries. So we have different flags, and for the dash uppercase R file, this is flag. I mean, this is used for the recursive into subdirectories. So these are the different flags that we have for ACL. And also, you can just do man set FACL to check the man page. And if I go to the examples, you would see how to use the set FACL command. You can see the example I have here. This is saying granting an additional user the read access permission. This is also revoking write access from the group. So these are the different examples you can see on how to use the ACL permission. I don't usually cram, sometimes when I forget how to use a command or a particular flag, I just check the examples or I use the dash dash help option. And the good thing is that if you're going to be writing the exam too, you have the opportunity to check the examples or the opportunity to use the help option. However, I'm not going to guarantee that in all exam questions. So you need to know what you're doing again when you're writing the exam. But from my own experience, I have always gotten to use the examples or the dash dash help to be able to navigate my way in the exam. So I'm just going to exit out of this place. Now that I've copied that example, I can paste it here and then I can make use of this example. Now for me to set the permission on this file 1, if I do ls dash l file 1, right? So let's set the read and execute permission for the user Lisa on file 1. In this case, we don't have any other option than to use the ACL. So I'm going to just say set FACL followed by dash M modify followed by user. So this is what I'm looking at, and this is what I'm looking at. And the user I want to set the permission for is Lisa. Wow, imagine. Lisa. So whatever user I want to set the permission for, just put it there. And I want to set the read and execute permission on file 1. And if I do ls dash l file 1 again, you can now see the plus sign I was talking about here, meaning that you have an access control list permission on the file. So whenever you see the plus sign, it's telling you that you have ACL. And for you to be able to know that Lisa now has the read and execute permission on file 1, you can then use the command get FACL file 1. And when you look at this ACL side, you can see that for normal user, you have the read write permission. And now for the user Lisa that you just set, you have the read and the execute permission. For the group, it remains the same. So this is how you're going to set the ACL permission in Linux, and this is just for the user. For the group, you will just simply change this U to G. So let's do that for group. So if I'm going to be setting this for the group, so I'm going to change this user to group, and what group? Let's set this for the sales group. So I want the sales group to have just read and write permission on file 1. And if I do ls or get FACL, I mean file 1, if you look at the group section here, you can now see that the group sales also have the read and write permission on file 1. You can see how important ACL is. So without ACL, you cannot set permissions for other users or other groups on a file. It's going to clear my screen and we can check the Ubuntu side of it. So this is the Ubuntu system. And like I said, it's the same thing. The only difference is that for the Red Hat, the ACL tool is shipped with the operating system, while for Ubuntu it is not. So if you don't already have the Get FACL tool, you would need to install the ACL tool. And to install the ACL tool on Ubuntu system, you can just use the command apt install ACL. You can see that it's saying that ACL is already the newest version, and that's because I have already installed ACL on the system. So if I now do ls-l, I have file 1 here, so I can do get FACL on file 1. You can see the permissions we have for file 1, and I can also do a man page for set FACL. I can check the examples. You can see that it's the same thing as the Red Hat system, so I can just copy this, I can quit, and I can paste this here, and then I can set my permission. So let's say I want to set, let's use the same user Lisa or Ola. So I can just say set FACL, modify user, let's use Ola for the read write permission on file 1. And if I do ls-l for file 1, you can see that we have the plus sign here. And if I do get FACL for file 1, to get FACL, you can now see that Ola has the read write permission on file 1. And this is also applicable to the group 2 as well. So if I do modify group, let's say the sales group, read write on file 1. And if I do get FACL file 1, you can see that the sales group has also been added, and this is the read write permission for the sales group. And there is also others as well. Yeah, I didn't do that on the Red Hat system, but of course you can do for others. So for others, I can say set FACL, modify. This time around, you need to write order, and I can say read, say read to execute here, then file 1. And if I do get FACL, you can see that for others we have read and execute permission. And if I do ls-l file 1, so we have the read and execute permission for others. And there are a lot of permissions you can play with ACL. Another example is how to completely deny access for a user or group. And to do that, this is the command you're going to use. Another example is how to remove ACL from a specific group or user. Another one is how to remove ACL default entries. Another one is how to remove all entries on a file or directory. So it's just the same thing. When you look at the man pages, you'll be able to navigate your way through, and you'll be able to set the ACL permissions. And like I said, I'll be dropping the link to this documentation in the description box below, so that if you wish to learn more about ACL, you can click on it and then you can read more about ACL. So I want to say thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next lesson. And please don't forget to subscribe, like, share, comment. When you do this, it will encourage us to do more of those videos. And bye for now.